Hey guys, you ready to put a 496 big block in the Chevelle today? I'm not, but it's what we're doing anyways. Alright, so what we got here is a beautiful Roush Yates 496 big block, dynoed just over 650 at the crank. This is going to be going into our 72 Chevelle over there. These headers are already supposedly set up for a Chevelle. This engine came out of a Chevelle, so hopefully that all fits right in the chassis, no problem. It is the old Super Ram setup. I have to look up what we have for computer management again. I can't remember. It's not Holley, it's not factory stuff, it's somebody else. I looked it up before just to make sure we could use it. We are getting rid of this whole front drive. So this is electric water pump and power steering alternator, obviously. They reverse those. We are getting rid of this whole setup and putting a Holley front runner system on it because we want air conditioning as well and a regular water pump, not an electric water pump. So that will be going on after I get this thing situated. Today's project is to make sure with the mounts and everything that it has that it sits in the car, clears everything in the car, and I have to grab somewhere over there is our 4L80 as well, and we already have a transmission cross member for that, and we're gonna see if we can get this whole drivetrain in the car today. All right, so first things first, I'm gonna zip these headers off so I have somewhere to put my lift straps, and then we're gonna get this thing balanced so it stays perfectly flat so I can just kind of right down into the car, because we have absolutely no front clip on this car, so it'll be nice and easy to put in. Then we'll make sure these headers fit. Like I said, this came out of, I believe it was a 1970 Chevelle. 70, 72 is the same generation, so hoping and praying everything just fits, no problem. We don't have to make any modifications. Well, I'd say that's pretty balanced. Just got the tiniest bit of tilt to the rear, which is perfect. That's what we want. So let me wheel this monstrosity over there, lower the car down, and we can see if everything's going to fit within this chassis. Alright guys, sorry about that. So that whole previous thing, I was recording and commentating, walking it over here and fitting it all in and telling you about the engine. Apparently I had no audio because my mics decided to unpair from my receiver. So I just put music instead. We're going to get this in. We are right there. It's just some fine tuning to get this in here. Where is that? It's got to go down a little bit. So let's see. I can't get this thing lined up in there. This is not going in easy, I'll tell you that much. Let me, yeah, that's not going to move that. This is, I am dropping stuff left and right. This is not going smoothly. I need like a hair, and there it was. Now the backside has to come down quite some bit. Let me get something metal to hit on that's not going to take all of the impact force that I'm trying to put forward. There they are. Let's see, we'll use that one, because it appears everything is going to fit here without an issue. This part of it. Don't know about the headers, but we'll see. Oh, we're almost there. Well, this is going to be loud, so I'm going to pause you guys, and I'll be back as soon as I get that bolt in there. All right, we got some background noise going on, but the engine is in. I'm going to tighten both of my mount bolts. Then we're going to bring the headers over here and see if they clear everything. Hoping they do, because I'd really like to use those, because they're really nice headers. Steering shaft may be tight. We will see when we get them over here. But like I said, supposedly it came out of this generation Chevelle with this engine in it. So let me tighten some bolts and go get some headers. Actually, before I go grab the headers, I already looked, but I'll show you guys. We have plenty of clearance around the cross member, around everywhere that we'd need to. Front, there's nothing anywhere close to being interfering. Got 2 inches or so between the head and the firewall. Plenty of room between the distributor and firewall. This engine is, I got to get the transmission in it, but we're going to guess it's going to tilt up just a little bit more. Get that top of that intake straight, so we'll have even more clearance back there. But I'm happy with that. So far, everything clears. Let's go get the exhaust and see though. So passenger side is on, and it actually looks like we have plenty of clearance everywhere. The only place that is slightly close is right here by that suspension kickout, where that always is. I've got no problem with denting this tube in, because everywhere else we have plenty of clearance on this side. So I am super psyched about that. All right, let's get to the driver's side. Well, I'll be dipped. It looks like plenty of clearance around there. So the only place it's tight is same deal on the suspension kick out there, and it's way too close here, but that's nothing a hammer can't take care of. So I'm going to mark those 2 spots along with the spot on the other side and clearance everything, and then button these things up. Well, and there we are. We're in on both sides, and I didn't even have to hit these headers once to clearance them. I had to hit them a lot to clearance them. So we've got plenty of space now, nice gap down there. The only one I might have to clearance a little bit more is the one by the suspension mount right there, and that is 100% dependent on what the angle of the dangle is going to be once I get the transmission in and on the mount, because it's close if it's more vertical, but if it's got a rearward drop, which it should have, just I don't know if it's going to have enough driveline angle that I can get away with that, or I might have to clearance it some more. But that was fun. It was so much fun I had to open the door because I started sweating my ass off. So now I'm going to go dig out our 4L60. We have an aftermarket transmission cross member, and I'm going to fit that stuff up and see how that fits. Okay. Nope, don't hit that. Go straight. There you go. Whew. Yep, definitely that wheel definitely should get stopped on that tiny little nut on the ground. Yep. Okay, yep, stop on that piece of wire. Awesome. Okay. You know my favorite part about working on these jobs myself? When it comes time to lift all this big heavy stuff. So, from my bell housing to my trans mount, it's about 30 and a half inches, which puts me somewhere around here, which we knew the transmission's, you know, obviously longer than a 400 or a 350. But we do have all these mounting holes for the cross member. We also are not using this cross member. So, now that I'm to this point, I'm going to open up that box that's on the ground over there for the first time and see what kind of cross member the boss man got. So some of you would say, hey Joe, why didn't you open this box up before you got to the point where you're about to install it? And to you, I would say, good point. Oh, it's from Speedway, so it's not horrible. Speedway does have some really good stuff. What the heck? Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's just the Speedway mount. This should work without an issue. I believe it's made... Any other hardware in there? Nope. I believe it's made for the 4L80. It looks kind of like it's a knockoff of the Harley piece. Oh, it's G-Force. Okay. No, that's good. G-Force is good. All right. Let me get that other cross member out of there. Get this one up, but way far back. And according to the Google machine, a 4L80 will fit in the stock trans tunnel. It'll be tight, but it'll fit. I'm going to test that theory right now. Well, okie dokie. Cross members out of the way. Let's attempt this. Let me make sure my converter's fully seated. Oh yeah, that's in there. If you can't get your fingers around the converter, usually means it's as far as it needs to go. As you can see, or probably can't see, but oh, I'm caught. Hold on, let me stop doing stupid stuff. There we go. The header has been clearanced here by the previous owner for starter clearance, because these are some big ass headers. These are at least 2-inch primaries, which this engine definitely can use it. 90% of you guys like the CTSV pages on Facebook, everybody wants 2-inch headers. You're at a stock power level. You really don't need bigger than 2-inch until you're over about 850 on those cars. But, you know, weenie's got to swing, so they want the big weenie to swing with. But this car definitely needs that. I am gonna crap myself, not on camera, if this just kind of goes right into place and everything's good. I'll be amazed. What am I hitting? All right, first problem. We're hitting the headers. So I'm gonna have to go in up like this till we clear them. This is what I was afraid of and thought maybe I shouldn't put the headers on yet. My better judgment said that. My not better judgment said, F it, put the headers on. We'll just, headers are flexible, so we'll just do a little bit of flexing. Get these ears on the transmission by. I don't always do things in the order they're supposed to be done, but when I do, I barely do. Whew. You like that? this back some. Go up here. Where's my locator? Gotta go up about another inch. You, what's this side? I can't see this side. I have no light on this side. This side has to go down. Oh, it just fell into place. You've got to be kidding me. All right, I have to go up a little and take some tilt out of it. Well, this side has to go back up again. That moved it a fair amount. Hope you guys are enjoying me being quiet. And then, oh, and that knocked down. Oh, because I gotta go up. I'm an idiot. Now I gotta rotate it. That is in. And the converter's still loose, so that's good. All right, I'm gonna get me some perimeter bolts to bolt this thing up in here. And I think right here, yeah, that's what I was reading. Your fittings and your back speed sensor, where it's a little tight, you might have to do a little floor massaging. So I'm gonna get 2 bolts, get that bolted in, find out where my height's gonna be with this cross member. So I might not have to do any massaging. If it drops it down some, it's a geometry thing. All right, I'll be right back. Guys, I do a lot of transmission removals because back when I was with GM, I was rebuilding transmissions like it was going out of style. This is one of my favorite tools ever. So it's like a 4-foot extension. Yeah, 4 foot, sure. It's 1/2 inch on the gun side. It's 3/8 on this side, which works out good because you're always super tight up there. And you just put your wobble socket on and you go to town. This is a snap-on GAX 36, so 36, so 3 feet. It's probably had the number on it changed like 6 times because this thing easily 20 years old, but best tool in the world for bell housing bolts. And we'll show you in action. Look at that, that's awesome. Love it. Works good for putting them on and taking them off. I never would have been doing as many transmissions as I was doing if I didn't have that thing. Okay, so let's see. So that's my maximum height right there. Here's to hoping my cross member fits under there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are all bolted in and I have good clearance all the way around. The closest point I have is, let me see if I can get the light in an area where you can see it, is right there, and that's a 1/4 inch gap, so that should be good. Plenty of room up in the tunnel up there. This header pipe has plenty of clearance. This side does not, so I am going to have to put a come along against this and try to ratchet strap that thing over there and put some extra bend into it. Otherwise, there's no way this is going to clear. I'm dented in so it clears here a little bit, but it's hitting the bolts that hit that, so I've got to make a fix for that. Well, shit, guys. The old ratchet strap method worked. I was able to tweak that in, and I got a nice 1/4 inch gap there and plenty of room there. I'm actually going to do it one more time, bring it over just a little bit more, and we're good. Tell me that ain't a thing of beauty right there. You know, minus the fact that we're changing this whole front. It's going to be, I believe you got a black Holley front runner. But damn, Engine fits perfectly in there. I'm glad I got that header issue resolved. I got tons of clearance in there now. I strapped it one more time and that took care of it. But yep, that's it. That was a full day's work, just getting all that in there. Actually got a ton of oil pan clearance, and oil pan is just about the same height, if not a little bit above the cross member, and the trans pan hangs down a little, but no further than the headers do, so that's good. Whew. Yep. I gotta get me some plugs though. Unfortunately, one of these NGKs broke on the way out. So I'd be putting new plugs in it anyways. I don't want to run what was in here. But yeah, there it is. So that's that. So we've gotten a lot done on this car this week, and there'll be a lot of videos coming out. I've got this video with the engine and transmission installation. I've got the video of the whole suspension system going in, and I have just about finished up the video of all our Willwood brakes going in. I just literally have the fronts to do. So we just have, where are they? Caliper brackets, calipers, rotors. That's it. And then they're done. And we are waiting for our lug nuts to get here from Budnick so we can put on our Budnick rally wheels. So these are, I think these are a 265 that's going on the rear, and the fronts are over there. I believe those are a 245. So it's not going to be a crazy fat setup, but what it does allow us to do is sink the wheels up into the wheel wells. Got a vision. We're I think going to go full resto mod, modern look on this one instead of doing like a complete resto mod underpinnings with stock style with all the trim and all that. We're not doing any trim on this one as far as I know so far. So here we go. Next up, we'll be seeing if we're keeping this injection system that came with it, the computer system, or going to a Terminator, because I've got to do some digging into this system, and if it's not user-friendly and there's not a lot of support out there for it, it's big something or other tuning. I don't know, I'll put it up here after I look it up later. There's not a lot of good support out there for it, and if it's not easily tunable with a laptop, there's no use putting it in there. It's just going to cause more problems than anything else. So we'll just throw a Terminator on it, be done, and Terminator works awesome with the 4L80 big block Chevy injection combo. So, with that being said, on to the next part of this project, which is shipping it off to our buddy Sean so he can wet sand everything.